Hello everyone, and welcome to week 3. Professor Natalie here to bring us into module 3 of our journey. This week we'll be exploring the recruiting process from staffing to selection. Yes, those are different functions. We're wrapping up week 2, in which you should have read about the need for HR to have a central leadership role in order to influence the strategy of an organization. We play an important part in the company's viability and sustainability, including its branding and subsequent reputation on social responsibility. So this brings us to week 3 and the topic that is the first stage in the employee life cycle and the second stage in what we call the HR functions. It's recruitment and selection. Let's see how week 2 and week 3 tie together, shall we? Last week we studied workforce analysis, how many people and what types of skills are available externally and internally. This week we carry that information into going after the people and skills we need in the organization through recruiting efforts. Recruiting is the first step in the employee life cycle, and you will often see job ads for recruiters and talent acquisition positions. They reference full cycle recruiting and or the employee life cycle, and that's what it means. Full cycle recruiting involves sourcing the candidates, recruiting them, selecting them, which is interviewing, testing, and job offers, and orientation and onboarding. We're not quite going to get to the onboarding part. HR's role is to create the HR strategy, then tie in the recruiting plan and selection plans to the organization's strategic plan. Next, we go on to actual recruiting, which most of us are familiar with. Our sources need to target diversity, but in more ways than the traditional race, gender, religion, etc. This week, please explore the types of employees mentioned in the text, how diversity ties in, and the trends. I know some of you were interested in more information about trends mentioned in your journals. After recruiting, we enter the next stage, one you are also likely familiar with, and that's interviewing, background checking, and testing. There are several types of interviews, so please read about them in the text and use the information in your HR analysis assignment at the end of this week. Most companies also conduct background checks and some testing. These are usually what we call the first hurdle in the recruiting process before a job offer is made. However, some testing can only be conducted post-offer. If the person doesn't pass, the job offer then is rescinded. The offer is what we call contingent on passing the test. Finally comes the job offer itself. Each job offer should contain some basic information and is usually delivered verbally, then in writing, but both forms are binding on the company. So read about this and some global staffing considerations in the text. And by global, I just mean overall. So what's the assignments for the week? They include a discussion about employer branding and the recruitment process, with study of some of the best places to work. There's also a written HR analysis due at the end of the week where you put on your HR hat and conduct a review of your department, organization, or one that you're familiar with. Feel free to maintain confidentiality, please. So if you have any questions at any time, please reach out to me, preferably via email or text. Texting, again, please let me know who you are and what class you're in so that I can respond appropriately. Have a great week.